Chinese emigrants can be found the world over working for a better life for themselves or more often for their children. Many tend to stick together, specialising in certain business niche areas and often living in less than salubrious areas. In some countries, they're seen as easy targets for thieves, as they often deal in cash businesses. And now the horrific killing of a Chinese man and his baby daughter in Italy has sparked fears over the personal safety of such immigrants. Zhou Zheng and his wife, Zhang Liyan, ran a bar and money exchange in Rome. The couple were on their way home with their baby when two armed robbers approached them and demanded cash. When Zheng refused to hand over the money, they shot him and his 9-month-old daughter to death. His wife is now recovering in hospital from stab wounds. Police say they're seeking two North African immigrants in connection with the killing. Thousands of Chinese and Italians marched to the streets of Rome in solidarity with the victim, and the Italian president visited Ms. Zheng in hospital. But are Chinese living abroad more vulnerable than they were in the past? And if the danger has increased, what can be done to lessen the risk? Well, our researcher Esther Dong has been checking into online reaction to the killings and the broader issue of safety overseas. Okay, Esther, a tragic story indeed. What have Chinese net users to say about this?
Well, maybe because of the brutality of the shooting, and also maybe because of the publicity after the march in Rome, Chinese media have been paying a lot of attention to this case. And of course, that means plenty of internet users are aware of the details and have been discussing what happened. Most just feel sad about this tragedy, and comments like, I really feel sorry to hear such news, and the murders are so cruel are really common. But also, some net users seem a little surprised and can't believe that such a thing could happen in a place they know as a world-famous tourist city. Like this poster from Sohu.com, who says, "It just proves the whole world is unsafe, and I would rather stay in China." While this poster from 163.com just hopes the Chinese government will do more on this issue, saying, "I still remember when some Americans were killed in some other countries. The US government would never give up until the local government gave the victims an explanation. I really hope this time the Chinese government will come out with strong backing." However, not everyone has the same feeling, like this poster from iPhone.com, who doesn't seem to have a lot of sympathy for those who emigrate. When they are in China, all they do is complain, and they think everything is bad, including the social environment and the level of education. But what about now? Even when such a terrible thing happens, I just hear the local police said they will try their best to catch the criminals. No promise, no change until now. So anything different?
Right, Esther, as you mentioned before, there seems to be a perception, certainly, that the personal safety situation has got worse for Chinese people living overseas. Now, certainly there's a growing realisation that some Chinese immigrants are extremely wealthy, but are there other reasons that they might become targets?
Well, I have to say, for many net users, anyone who goes overseas, whatever they are doing abroad, traveling, doing business, or studying, seem to be thought of as relatively rich compared with those who stay at home. And there are more Chinese people traveling to buy luxury goods. In fact, we mentioned here recently the Chinese tourists who became the main purchasing force in London during the Christmas sales. Of course, all this strengthens such an impression, as this poster on Sohu.com explains. I have to say, the whole world now must have the perception that all the Chinese are rich. But there are also some net users who mention another reason related to the overall economic environment, like this one. I think because of the current economic crisis, the number of robberies and thefts must have increased in these foreign countries. People really should be more careful. And interestingly, a poster called Lao Hua Zhu says it may have been poverty in the past that contributed to this tragedy. As far as I know, some rich guys, especially those from poor families, always consider money as more important than anything, since they suffered a poor life before. And this attitude makes them not willing to give up their money, even when facing extreme danger. I think that's also one reason behind this tragedy. Finally, this poster thinks the tendency to not report such robberies amongst some Chinese is not helpful. I really suggest the Chinese people strengthen their awareness of self-protection. Keeping quiet won't make them safe. They should learn how to use different ways to protect themselves.
Well, of course, there are some net users who suggest simply that people should avoid going abroad, but the fact is that more and more Chinese people are travelling to and living in foreign countries. Have you seen any suggestions about how to be safe abroad?
Yes, of course. First, some net users think that Chinese people living overseas should make some changes themselves, and there are a couple of suggestions posters have given. First, they should get rid of the habit of showing off, and second, before they go abroad, they should at least learn something of the local language and culture. Besides this, people should learn how to keep calm in dangerous situations and learn how to protect their lives first. At the same time, local Chinese communities should be more united and not implode. And this poster from VOC.com points out another aspect of this and thinks the government should also take more action, saying, I think these tragedies have proved the necessity of coming up with some laws related to this issue. I think not only the overseas companies, but also the central government should begin to think about this question, such as considering giving consular officers more rights to help overseas Chinese under some certain laws. Of course, this process will take a long time, but at least we should start working on it now.
Well, if changing foreign laws is the aim, that's certainly going to take some time. Thanks for that, Esther.